Public Broadcasting Network. Because you can handle the truth.
A revolution needs a war, and this war needs a revolutionary rise for your rights. The Constitution speaks of speech that's free. Open your mouth from sea to shine and see. But will the real Americans please stand up? No more hiding your face in the sand. Will the real Americans please stand up? Divided we're falling, but united we'll stand.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers.
Senate rights. When politicians take from you and me the very liberties that set us free. Stand up and fight for this democracy is you and me. We're the founders, saddle up, let's ride. Now will the real Americans please stand up? No more hiding your face in the sand. Will the real Americans please stand up? Divided we're falling, but united we'll stand up, stand strong, stand tall, and we'll keep these walls from falling. Stand up, stand strong, stand tall, and we'll keep these walls from falling.
Our natural unalienable rights are now considered to be a dispensation of government. And freedom has never been so fragile, so close to slipping from our grasp as it is at this moment.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Resurrect Republic RTR Truth Media Reloaded. Tonight is going to be an interesting night. We are discussing taking a stand, and we're always excited and fired up when we find out that individuals are taking a stand, especially doing it in the face of the tyrants. This is your host, Lorri Anderson, joined with, of course, Tom Lacavera Stewart. How are you doing tonight, Tom?
Nah, it's just another day in the life, huh?
It is. It's an exciting night. I think tonight is going to be fun. I'm fired up, as well as many other individuals I'm hoping will be after they hear our show tonight. What do you think?
Well, I think that North and South Korea agree to work towards peace. Have you heard?
I have. Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Imagine how that happened.
Imagine how that happens.
Oh, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What can I say? Oh, Lord.
Right.
You know, just when I get pissed off at Trump, you know, some of his stuff ends up working out, and then I feel obligated to say, well, you know, at least half of what we see going on is perhaps, you know, positive. You know, I'm disappointed in some areas, but you know, for all of the mainstream media out there that harshly criticized how he dealt with that whole situation, it's just really interesting to see Kim Jong-un. I always get these guys mixed up. Kim Jong-un apparently actually crossed the line into South Korea, and they sat down together, and I think that they may be declaring an end to the Korean War, so-called conflict.
They signed documents today.
Yeah, just anyway. But, you know, I'm getting off the topic of what we wanted to talk about. Folks, for you guys out there that already know that my YouTube channel has been terminated with millions of views and tens of thousands of subscribers, 6 years worth of work, articles, all of that stuff. I think it's kind of relevant to what is going on with the two young ladies, Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk have been all over the news. Not only did their situation of their censorship, was it brought up in Congress, but then Facebook tried to say that it tried reaching out to them. And And then you had people like the Young Turks trying to prove evidence of that because allegedly, somebody from Facebook or Zuckerberg tweeted them and allegedly sent them emails and commented in their threads on Facebook. First of all, if you want to directly contact somebody, you send them an email. There is no evidence of any emails. The PR effort that went into trying to patch their hindquarters from being torn off was that they sent a tweet and they commented on a thread because that could be seen publicly. But here's the thing. When you're Diamond and Silk, or even me, I don't have as many people throwing me messages. I get messages maybe sometimes a couple days later. I mean, I have people sending me messages all the time. I don't read the threads of all of my posts or tweets. Sometimes I do. I try to, but they're not always in real time, right? So here you have these young ladies who have been censored, but something interesting happened last night. A friend of mine from Facebook, and I published this video now to our Facebook, in Facebook, just to make a point, which, by the way, now I can't post any of my pages. But anyway.
I'm shocked, Tom.
Right? Christopher Hinckley.
That hate speech. Get rid of that hate
Christopher Hinckley not only proved that Facebook was censoring, he went and he recorded how he was not only following Diamond and Silk and was supposed to receive notifications, but the same with me. Now, here's what brought this on. I made a post because I noticed there was nobody was clicking on my post, and I'm like, I have 5,000 friends, at least 1,000 people following by choice. Not to mention the Resurrect the Republic radio show page and all of that other stuff. And I'm like, why am I getting no traction off of any of these posts? So I made a post that said, Facebook, here we go again. Censoring, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that post now, let me bring it up. That post now was, I think, over 200 responses. Keep in mind, I was getting 2 to 3 prior to the post. Here it is right here. It's coming up on my screen. I'm sorry, 151 people clicked likes, and there was a bunch of shares. And my message was, Facebook, I'm getting tired of this. 5,000 friends and almost no one seeing my posts. That was it. There was no photo. There was no article. There was no clickbait. There was nothing other than just this little tiny post. And 151 people clicked like on it. And when you scroll down, now I have a little bit more traction from posts that I made because they clicked on that and then scrolled down my timeline. But prior to that, and we recorded all of this in real time, there was nothing there. So not only are people friending people and specifically and deliberately requesting notifications from their posts, but they're not getting them. And this is, if they're going to give you, and some people have argued with me, it's a corporation, they can do what they want. They can't deceive you. First of all, they can't do what they want because they're also funded by
taxpayer money.
There is taxpayer money that went into Facebook. So that argument, as far as I'm concerned, is out the window. But aside from that, if they are going to give you the illusion that you have the ability and can request notifications from someone, and you don't supply that, and they are generating revenue off of its users. So not only are they making money off of people, but they're shadow banning people who they're making money off of in certain content, and they're lying to them. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's called fraud. And to get thousands, millions of people to use a service based on deception is one of the biggest fraudulent concepts I've seen that have been allowed to go on. So we have these kangaroo congressional hearings that everybody thought, well, Zuckerberg's being taken to task, things are going to change. Well, this all happened after all of that. And this is either algorithms or live human beings. Now, either or, as a CEO of Facebook, you would think that Mark Zuckerberg could come in and say, okay, we need to stop this. He didn't do it. He didn't fix anything. Not only are we being censored, but Diamond and Silk is being censored because Christopher Hinckley also recorded how they're suppressing their posts from going to him as well. Mm-hmm. So I've reported on that part of it, and I'm going to give it to you for, I know that you have some content you want to share with us from, I assume, from the hearings?
Yes, that's some of it. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, man, you want to talk about somebody's head being ripped off.
You know what? You know what, Tom? That's what happens when Congress actually meets real American women. That's it. They are so used to people in Congress that are yes men and women, or I stand on due to possible incrimination of myself. I obtain and stand on my right to remain silent due to the advice of counsel. Let me tell you what, for many of you individuals who do not know what we're talking about yet, because a lot of this hasn't been put out there, and unless you're really savvy on the internet, it is everywhere on the internet now, but I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into this. But Tom, before I get to that real quick, as you remember I sent you copies of when I was trying to post information about the SPLC, and Facebook wouldn't let me do it. Remember me sending you screenshots on that? And I've had videos that I knew got out there, had over 77,000 views and only a couple of thumbs ups. But yet you read the messages and everybody's like, oh, awesome, that's great, Q sent me, I shared it, da 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 da. And so they've been manipulating numbers for us for a very long time. So I'm so glad. That's the reason that we played Stand Up today, because let me tell you what, these real American women, Diamond and Silk, they stood up for every American on April 26th. I am so proud of them, and it was epic. So let me explain to you what I am talking about. On April 26th, the House Judiciary Committee held a hearing. And this hearing was the hearing for how social media is filtering conservatives. So it wasn't just Facebook that they were speaking about. They were talking about social media as well. However, before I get into too much more detail, and then I'm going to line it up as we go through these different clips for you to hear, I want you to hear the opening statements for Diamond and Silk. Their opening statements to the House Judiciary Committee on, and the title for the Judiciary Committee meeting was opening statements on social media filtering. And
wait, is this the one where Representative Tip Over? Okay, you're not doing that yet.
Not yet. Okay. I'm going to leave.
Let me know when you're ready to do that, because I have a little bonus for that.
Okay, not a problem. So the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, a Republican out of Virginia, delivered the following remarks on April 26th at a hearing examining social media filtering practices and their effect on free speech. Chairman Goodlatte says, quote, "Today's hearing will examine how social media companies filter content on their platforms. According to a February 2018 fact sheet published by the Pew Research Center, today around 7 in 10 Americans use social media to connect with one another, engage with news content, and share information and entertain themselves. In a survey released in March, Pew found that Facebook dominates the social media landscape, with 68% of U.S. adults stating that they use this social media platform online or on their cell phone. The same survey found that nearly 3/4 of the U.S. adults use YouTube, a platform with many social media elements, including 94% of 18 to 24-year-olds. Also covered in the survey was Twitter, which controls a smaller demographic but nevertheless attracts 40% of 18 to 24-year-olds to its platform. Well, when you realize the ages of that, Tom, then you know why they're really trying to alter that. They don't want to reach those millennials.
Well, sure. And they're pushing us off onto platforms that they have no control over, but don't have the steam and don't have the demographics that that they do. They're relatively small. I mean, even Steam It, it's picking up, but it's more of an audience that I would, I don't have the facts and data in front of me, but I would consider probably 25 up, and people who have already formulated their opinions about a lot of things. Now, this is a very pervasive that's going on all over the place. We see with the effects on the minds of these kids from Florida with March for Our Lives. Lives, or lies, actually.
Oh, you said it right.
Yeah, the March for Our Lives. And now Washington, D.C. was talking about, now, while they're upping the age that you can get a firearm, they want to lower the age for voting.
Oh, yeah.
And you can obviously, any critical thinking-minded individual knows that even a senior in high school, I feel like my father when I say this. He used to say, "What do you have in your head?" You know what I mean? And my dad knew that we had a bunch of garbage in our head. And we would only receive this garbage when coming back from schools. And really, it's no big secret that most teachers are liberals. I don't know why that's happened, except for I know that there was a deliberate movement, a push for that. But beside the point, we know that that's a fact. So another question that I have here is why, unless there are Republicans that are in cahoots with them, which I believe, why are we allowing taxpayer-funded schools to allow political movements to be fostered and paid for and fomented? And that's a whole nother issue right there. We're not talking about, this is common sense. No, this is a political agenda. And politics have no... It's not that politics shouldn't be discussed in school, but you should be described what politics are, not which party you should...
And not tell them exactly what they should think, and they're bad if they don't think that way.
Exactly. I wish I could share some of the content that some people have sent me. It wouldn't be good for radio. But I've gotten content from people from all over the place in classrooms where students engage in arguments with these Marxist teachers that, they've been thrown out of class, they've been silenced, they've been bullied, and, most of the robot-minded kids in the class will gang up on the couple conservatives that are saying, this is stupid. This is white privilege. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm going to tell you, political correctness definitely went out of the window on this hearing. And I am really tickled pink about that. So I wanted to share with you all the opening statements, if you will, to the April 26th House of Representatives Judiciary Committee hearing about these social media sites. And by the way, these social media sites were built by us, not them, because they would have no content if it wasn't for each one of us. So if you would, Mike, please play that clip. Okay, so while Mike is getting that taken care of and ironed out so that clip can be played, I want to point out...
Well, I guess we'll...
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, boy.
We would like to thank the Judiciary Committee for allowing us the opportunity to voice our concerns about conservatives being targeted and censored on social media platforms. Facebook, along with other social media sites, have taken aggressive actions to silence conservative voices such as ourselves by deliberately restricting and weaponizing our page with algorithms that censor and suppress our free speech. These biased algorithms are tactics designed to pick up on keywords, thus telling the pages how to behave in ways that repress and stifle express ideas, including shadow banning, which block our content from being seen by our followers while depriving our brand through the demonetization of our videos. Followers stopped receiving notification when we posted videos and content. Followers was also mysteriously unliked from our page. Subtle and slowly, Facebook used one mechanism at a time to diminish our reach by restricting our page so that our 1.2 million followers would not see our content, thus silencing our conservative voices. When we reached out to Facebook for an explanation, they gave us the runaround. Mark Zuckerberg testified before Congress and stated that the most important thing he cared about was making sure no one interferes in the 2018 elections. But after doing our research, we wondered if Mark Zuckerberg was using Facebook to interfere in the 2018 elections by labeling users' accounts as either liberal, very liberal, moderate, conservative, or very conservative. This is one of the main underhanded ways to censor conservatives. So if I'm labeled as very liberal without the option to edit it, update, and correct the settings, then algorithms are already put in place which allows advertisers that have liberal views, services, and causes to target me. And you can see the graph on the screen, and it shows clearly that our personal accounts have been already labeled. Diamond and Silk personal Facebook page has been labeled by Facebook as very liberal. Even though we are not very liberal, Facebook do not give us the option to change this label to conservative, making it less likely for us to see advertisement, news stories, and services for a conservative point of view. If Facebook labeled our user accounts as very liberal and got it wrong, how many more other users' accounts haven't they gotten wrong? On September 7, 2017, we received a message on our Facebook page which stated that limits has been placed on diamonds and silks, and you can see picture 2. You can see on picture 3 all of the complaints that have come in from our followers where they're not receiving notification. When watching our videos, it stopped. They can't watch our videos. We've also noticed how someone with a liberal point of view that spew hate against the president can garner up to 19 million views with only 539,000 followers, yet we have 1.2 million followers and only received 13,000 views on a video, and you can see that in picture 4. And then in picture 5, you can see the comparison from back then till today. Also, if you look at picture 5, part 2, when we uploaded a video on March 4, with 1.2 million people, we was only able to reach 37,000 views. But as soon as Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, this here issue came to light, and they started taking those algorithms off, we uploaded the same video on April the 12th, and it was able to garner 400,000 views. After looking at our analytical on picture 5, part 3, after looking at our analytical, you can clearly see that the restrictions are back because after the 12th, everything started going back downhill. In 2016, with less than 1 million followers, our reach page would garner 5 to 8 million people or more within a week. All of that changed when the algorithms was placed back on our page to suppress our reach. YouTube also demonetized 95% of our videos in 2017, categorizing it as hate speech, even though our account was in good standard. We also show that Mark Zuckerberg said he don't allow hate speech, yet when people say the word I hate or we hate, those people also garner views. Was it in an enforcement error for 6 months, 29 days, 5 hours, 40 minutes, and 43 seconds of chatting and emailing about the same issue and being told that my issue would be escalated to a Facebook team, a spam team, the technical team, the appeal team, the internal team, the policy team, only to be told on January the 8th, 2018 that a request was never sent? And we have the proof. See picture 10 and picture 11. Censorship is no hoax. It's real. It's wrong for these social media giants to suppress and disregard people by diminishing and denying them their free speech. If social media is supposed to be a place for all ideas or to express an idea, then algorithms and tactics should not be in place to suppress some ideas. Thank you.
All right, so that's just the beginning of what we're going to hear tonight. I am so proud of those ladies, let me tell you. So I wanted to let you know, Chairman Bob Goodlett, he slammed the social media companies for refusing to testify. They were invited. Facebook, Google, and Twitter were invited to attend. Yeah, they were invited to attend the hearing on the social media filtering practices to which they had been. And this is what he said, quote, "I'm extremely disappointed that some of the internet's largest speech platforms refused to testify today. We know that these social media platforms remove content. As legitimate businesses, they must ensure that their services aren't being abused for illegal purposes, such as fraud and identity theft. There is, however, a big difference between removing illegal activity and suppressing speech. Americans recognize that they want to know why they're being banned, blocked, or labeled online, which is why we asked Facebook, Twitter, and Google to participate in today's hearing. Unfortunately, these platforms who purport to, quote, help public connect, unquote, appear more interested in saving face than engaging on the issues face to face. This committee will take whatever steps necessary to obtain answers directly from these tech companies so that we can better understand their filtering practices in order to promote freedom of speech on the internet," unquote. Great job, Chairman Bob Goodlatte. So they did. They're really getting fired upon really well. I wanted to let you hear. Now, these are not going to be played in order. I want to make that clear. There will be a link below the show below where you can watch the whole hearing and see it in order. But I want to play a certain ones because I'm leading up to something, everyone. So I wanted you to hear from Representative Chabot from Ohio. He questions Diamond and Silk. Mike, would you please play that clip?
Thanks, gentlewoman, and recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Chabot, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'll go to Ms. Hardaway and Ms. Richardson, I think better known as Diamond and Spice, first, if I can. The Diamond and Silk, my apologies. Hopefully I get the rest of it right.
Okay.
Mr. Nadler introduced and asked the other three gentlemen about whether there was any evidence of Facebook or others blocking conservatives, and they indicated no, they didn't really have anything. But he didn't ask you those questions, and it's my understanding that you have personal knowledge of this, in fact, experienced this yourselves, being blocked because it actually happened to you. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And buried deep in the settings of Facebook, there is a setting called Your Categories, which Facebook label individual account as either liberal, very liberal, conservative, or very conservative. Our personal Facebook account have been labeled very liberal, thus meaning that anybody that is advertising or want to advertise, that's the only type of advertisement that we will see on our Facebook page. So if you are in a conservative and you're advertising as a conservative, your reach will not be far. The reason being is because there are individual Facebook pages that have been labeled as very liberal. Now, with this particular setting, we cannot change it, we cannot correct it, we cannot update it. This has been a default setting set by Facebook on individual personal pages. Okay. With that setting set, if you cannot change it, then guess what? Facebook control what you see.
That's right. Let me move on if I can. It's my understanding that you talk about a whole lot of different things, and one of those is President Trump, is my understanding.
Yes, we do.
And I think in general, you tend to agree with and agree with some of his policies and have been generally pro-President Trump. Is that accurate?
We love our president. We love his agenda. We love this country.
And others have found fault with that, is my understanding. You've been criticized by some for that point of view. Is that correct?
But that's their problem, not ours. Because
Right.
this is our platform.
That's right. We do not solicit our page to them.
Right.
They come to our page, and there are something called troll farms. When people come to our page and deliberately and they thumb down our page, Facebook have a mechanism sitting there that when you thumb down our page, you come to our page deliberately, thumb it down, then there's an algorithm that's put in place where if you get too many thumb downs, now your page is restricted, blocked, your posts disappear, and then shadow banning is there.
All right, we'll be right back after a couple of words from our sponsors. It's going to get even more heated as we go on with the show tonight.
To the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination of garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite is designed to strengthen the heart and arteries and help the body heal itself. Doctors are not able to explain the improvements they are seeing in their patients' health who are taking Extendivite. People who once needed more pills are now taking less and getting better. Due to the unexplainable improvements in their patients' health, more doctors are calling to order Extendivite for themselves. Help Extendivite make your doctor a believer. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed a newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
Without the right accessories, any guy can be off the mark. Whether you've invested thousands in your arsenal or you own a single trusted firearm, a visit to AROutfitting.com is in order. It's one of the finest online selections of tactical optics and AR parts and add-ons, like EOTech, quick target acquisition with no peripheral loss. Browse the full range of Nikon scopes and binoculars. AROutfitting.com can illuminate your world with Streamlight gun-mounted lights from keychain to large handhelds up to 1,100 lumens. Find some stability with Battenfield tactical bipods. AROutfitting.com has CMMG gun parts, barrels, assemblies, handguards, part kits, and more. Plus mag-full clips and magazines. I know I've got you excited, so take a breath. Head to AROutfitting.com. The site's super easy to navigate and features a ton of technical info, including links to manuals. We also welcome vendor and manufacturer inquiries. Remember, if you don't see it, we can get it at AROutfitting.com.
A revolution needs a war, and this war needs a revolutionary prize for your eyes. The Constitution speaks a speech that's free. Open your mouth from sea to shining sea. So will the real Americans please stand up? No more hiding your face in the sand. Will the real Americans please stand up? Divided we're falling, but united we'll stand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Resurrect the Republic, RTR Truth Media Reloaded. Americans are standing all across our union, whether it be from teenagers to the elderly, and we are so proud to bring to you tonight the House Judiciary Committee hearing where Diamond and Silk not only stood up for themselves, but stood up for every single person within the United States of America. We're going to finish that clip, and then we will take a call, and we will get back to the other clips that we have to play to you, for you tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear from Hank the Tank, Island over tip the Guam Island over guy. He's just a tart.
We're going to get there, I promise.
I know, I just can't wait.
If you would, Mike, please play that clip.
Thumb it down. Then there's an algorithm that's put in place where if you get too many thumb downs, now your page is restricted, blocked, your posts disappear, and then shadow banning is there where we can see our posts, but everybody else can't see our posts.
Do you think it's unsafe or it's hate speech to offer a positive view of our president?
Excuse me?
Do you think some people...
I love that.
Certainly you don't think that it's unsafe or hate speech to be positive about the president, right?
It is not unsafe, or is it hate speech to love this country and love and stand behind the president of the United States. When Obama was in office, if we had to get behind him, why not get behind this president right here?
Yeah, let me follow up. And then some other things that you've talked about, I think that you believe that we should control our borders. As a country, we have the right to do
Absolutely. Don't you?
Yeah.
Ain't this place controlled? When I came up here today, security had to check us out. We just couldn't walk up in here. Don't you secure your house? The border should be secure.
And another thing, if illegal aliens have a right to, don't have a right, but if illegal aliens can come here to America and obtain the American dream, why can't Diamond and Silk?
That's right.
Yeah, very good. And some other things that you discussed, my understanding is things like protecting the unborn. Is that something that you've discussed in the past, that you think that we ought to protect those that have a right to have life? Is that something that
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, and first of all, those are our beliefs.
Right.
And we have a right to those beliefs.
Right.
What's wrong with the way we believe? Why is it now in this country, whatever used to be right is wrong, and what's wrong now is right? If I have a belief, that's my belief. But nobody have a right to censor my free speech.
Yeah.
Nobody has a right to do it. And to maliciously and deliberately do it is what really irritates me. It just irritates me.
Very good.
Tell it like it is.
And good will seem evil, and evil will seem good. Woo! She got all biblical up in there.
Oh, you just wait. Even more biblical in a little bit. Yes, absolutely. So before we get to the next clips and covering these issues that Diamond and Silk so bluntly, not politically correct, but she definitely stood up for every individual in the United States of America. And we have a caller, so we're going to take that caller before we go to the next bit of information and the next clip. How are you doing tonight, Rhonda?
I'm doing great. What a wonderful show. I'm living vicariously through these two women. I found them a long time ago, and I'm grateful that you brought them back up into your program, because I saw them a long time ago. I love their sassiness. They're so
You know what I love most about them?
Snap!
They do not care about political correctness. They tell the truth. They tell it like it is, and they do not take and make apologies for it, and I love it.
I do too.
Well, Lorri, you guys, I do have a little bit, now I didn't know this until that last clip you played, but I do have a bit of a concern as to, they're up there to, I guess, they're talking about their Facebook page and being, but then why are they asking them about their political beliefs?
Oh, well, you just wait, honey.
Because it's a congressional record.
Yeah.
And they're establishing on the record, they're establishing the bias by pointing out their specific political beliefs. And basically what the congressman is doing is he's laying out, my father was a lawyer, so I think like a lawyer in a way. And what he's doing is he's placing on the congressional record evidence of political choices that they've made in their personal lives to back up so you gotta have to, when you're listening to congressional hearings like that, you have to kind of think he's presenting evidence, right? And that's how it is. So he's asking a question he obviously already knows the answer to, but he wants it placed on the record, right?
Right. He's trying to lay a foundation of proof that conservatives are being targeted on these platforms.
Oh, okay. So hence the question, pro-choice or pro-life.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
I had an incident, and I'll leave you with this. I had an incident
Sure.
one time with Facebook where I disagreed with something,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote into them, and what I wrote in, they didn't like it, and they called it hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I replied, and I said, "How do you come to that conclusion?" And it was so stupid. It was so minimal. It wasn't any big, huge thing, but it was like, what I said was hate speech, so therefore I'm going to be censored or something. I'm like, I'm not even, like I said, I'm living vicariously through these two women because they're awesome. I love them.
Yep. They are. They are. I love watching them, too.
I wanted to thank you for bringing them back to my attention because somewhere in between RBN and all the other things that I've watched, I lost track of them. But I actually went, when you guys were on your last little, talk, I went to Facebook, and I would encourage everyone to do this. I went and I searched on Google, searched Diamond and Silk, and then I found them on Facebook, and I have a Facebook page, so I liked them. And on the Facebook page, I wrote, as a comment, I said, everyone needs to like these two women because Facebook dissed them, and that's all.
That's wonderful.
Because Facebook doesn't want them, huh?
No, Facebook doesn't want them. And whenever you do that, make sure you do hashtag RTR Truth Media.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll go back and do that. But I did that when you guys put them on because they are so awesome. I love those two women. And I just encourage everyone to do that. Go and put on Facebook. Everybody needs to watch these two because Facebook doesn't want them to be on there.
Right.
One other thing that Diamond and Silk give us. I don't particularly agree with some of the policy decisions of Trump, but I admire them. They're Americans. They're standing up. There's so many positive things, and I'm conservative, so of course I'm happy to see what's going on in Korea and all that. But trying to be impartial about it, these two ladies brought something to the culture wars that the left cannot stand, and that is we have been painted as racists. We've been painted as white nationalists, and really what they've done is they have so hijacked the African American communities. We've known this for a long time. So we're naturally opposed to a lot of African American voices, not because of their race, but because of their politics. Now, here's this breath of fresh wind that comes in that we can say, good for you. Oh, well, that defeats the narrative of everything. It just doesn't help their own community and try and show some people in their own community how they can be incentivized by thinking responsibly and not for looking for more big government. But it also it helps us all out because here's a couple people that we can embrace and give an attaboy to and get behind and show people out there that the narrative is completely destroyed. When people like this come along, it's refreshing. And, I felt the same way about Dr. Ben Carson. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I agreed with most of what he said. And I would have very much liked to see him be in a higher policy position. But, people like this, they defeat the narrative of the left, and that's what I really like to see.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, it doesn't have anything to do with color because here we are.
Right. Glorifying them.
Three white Americans talking about them like they're the bomb.
Yeah, right?
They are.
They're my
so
sisters.
Sassy. I love their sassiness. And if you guys remember when Obama was in office, we had another one, but he was anti-Obama. He was did you guys ever see Mac Daddy? Oh, he was funny.
Oh, I remember Mac Daddy.
He talked about, I don't know why he said this, and this was a black man saying it. It was hilarious. I didn't necessarily agree. I didn't know that much about Obama, but I sarcastically wrote in to the first day of the White House. I wrote in because I heard Michelle/Michael Obama was into organic gardening, and I said, well, great, then you can go after Monsanto, and here's all the lists of... I did, and I said, God bless said, you guys are awesome. I said, here's why Monsanto should be put out of business. No, I was being sarcastic because I knew it would never happen. But
no.
That was great.
That black guy talked about Mac Daddy, right? And he was saying, he actually said no black man should be the president of the United States. And I'm scratching my head going, huh? Remember that?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
The reality was Obama wasn't black anyway. He's biracial. And a lot of black people have pointed that out because they've gotten mad about individuals trying to claim, the first black president. And a lot of black individuals got mad about that.
Is that what you're saying? You're saying, Lorri, are you saying that no black person would claim Obama as being the first black president?
No. Some people do. What I'm saying is some black individuals got mad when they were repeating he was the first black president, and they got mad and called him out on it and said, no, he's biracial. He is not black.
Oh, okay. Well, you remember, I think, wasn't Clinton the first white black president? It's all very confusing.
And see, it really just goes to show that these things, they just use them to divide us. It makes me think back to Anthony Hervey. I don't know if you remember Anthony Hervey, but he was driving with Arlene Barnum down Highway 6, and I think it was it Georgia? I forget. No, it was Alabama. And he was an African American who supported the Confederate flag because he knew a lot about the lies of history that are told, and he was very educated onto the history of our country, and he saw the Confederate flag as by the people that he knew and that he loved and the neighbors that he had being embraced, not for a symbol of racism and hate like they would tell you, but just a source of their history and the pride of the South and all that. So he went to a rally, and he was driving home, and a carload of young black males came up to the side of him, ran him off the road, and he died. And he was killed. Now, and these guys, they have all of these names that they give him, like, he's an Uncle Tom. No, he's not. He's being embraced by white people. He's being, thanked.
Do they realize Uncle Tom was the hero of the book?
Well, no, they don't. They don't realize that.
So when somebody calls you an Uncle Tom, everyone, say thank you, because they're calling you a hero.
Yeah. You see what they do? It's not about black. This is the left's hijacking of, and this is what Marxists do. They pander to people who, and they have to create a victim culture, right? So they push the narrative. They get them believing that that they're marginalized peoples, right? Instead of studying, which we have laws that prevent discrimination. Affirmative action is discrimination. So you have these people, these people I see at these universities. They're attending universities that are tens of thousands of dollars a year, and they're standing up talking about they're marginalized and they're oppressed. Excuse me, you aren't an exclusive, like Yale. I'm talking about Columbia. All of these universities, and they're standing up screaming and hollering how they're being discriminated against. You are in an Ivy League university saying how you're discriminated against while there's genocide going on still in Africa. It just blows my mind, the entitlement of this victim class of mentality, and they have created generations of these folks, and they're trapped by their own victimhood. And this is what the left panders to. The same thing that's going on in California with the whole immigration movement. They call it something called dreamers. Well, we have something to share with you on Monday. We're going to be on 11 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. We're switching times. And I'm going to share some stuff coming out of California. We're talking about Latinos, Latinas, black men, white men, everybody standing up saying, you know what? We don't want a sanctuary city. We see what it's doing. Not only are the cartels moving in and the drugs being sold, but this one African-American guy says, all of the people that I know that sell drugs, they buy them from the Mexican cartels. It's all around the neighborhood. He said, I'm going to expose all of you. It's just mind-blowing testimony. The far left has been doing this for so long, and all they want is voters. You see the same thing going on in D.C., where now they're so infected the minds of children, and they're propagandizing them because they have really developed no critical thinking abilities yet. I mean, you don't really know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, and I'm speaking for myself. I thought I knew everything up until I was about 25. And then I started a gradual process of wakening up because I saw what was going on in the world around me. I had an opportunity to critically think and find answers for myself. And fortunately, I didn't have a rooted public school education that programmed me to memorize, and that was that's what you get tested on. The education for those parents and grandparents out there. When I went to school, I was so blessed. I was privileged because I went to a school that told me, here's your subject, go bring us the answers. I kid you not. That's how I learned. And,
all right,
and
well,
kids
thank you
right
for taking
now,
my call.
Thank you.
I hear you're
Have
going
a
to
good
break,
time.
so
Have a good night.
thank you so much. Okay, you too, bye.
Thank you. Folks, we'll be right back. Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, 2, keep it today.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you some from Amazon.com. This product is superb. I have been taking it for about a year now, and I can feel my cardiovascular system run like a Swiss watch. I definitely recommend this product for anyone that has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart palpitations, A+. It's potent, but it works. I have been waking up for the past 3 years with numb hands, and a week into using Extendivite, my numb hands seem to have cleared up. My circulation was off, and now it's back on track. So I'm happy. I feel so energized, and I have my husband on it now. My mother-in-law has cholesterol problems, so I bought her a bottle as well. Thank you so much. Love the product. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Dallas, Texas.
been down in Texas. Burning telephone lines are down.
Well, telephone lines aren't down right now. We do have some clips to run, but we will be opening the call lines up. Do we have anybody on queue? John. Why don't we bring John up before we run the next clip? We only have a short segment.
Sure.
John, you're on.
Well, I was going to cover 3 quick points with you, but I guess I'll do it on my radio show. It's Radio Art hashtag. Now, that being...
Okay.
Yeah. And,
all right.
Wait a minute. That being said, it was RBN that inspired me to get my own radio show. Thank you, Rick Adams.
All right.
Now. All right, I get to 1 point. Look, YouTube got a TOS that says you agree to their laws, including applicable to the state in which they're located in.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
Thank you. The TOS is pretty specific.
Yeah, but it's irrelevant. And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why it's irrelevant. Let me give you, for instance. Let's say Walmart has an agreement that you can't be of a certain political persuasion and come into their establishment. Now, of course, these lawyers write it very carefully and craftily inside these terms of service agreements. But terms of service agreements, and even your agreement to them, do not make them lawful in the Republic of the United States. And this is what people don't understand. It just absolutely doesn't work that way. They cannot discriminate against people. This is a federal law. This covers all 50 states based upon their race, their gender, their political, their religious, cultural background. They cannot do it and maintain and operate a business in this country. This is I've heard this before, this argument, and I understand. But just because a corporation sets a policy and they do it through 33 pages of legal mumbo jumbo does not give them the right to violate your rights. Now, some people say, well, you give up those rights by consent. I argue against that because Facebook has on so many occasions put it out there that they are a social network for the world. So they can't say if they might have an argument if they said that we are the Republican voice of the world. Then they might have an argument to say that if people come in with opposing political opinions and they harass other people, they might have an argument. But being that they have made it clear that they have a non-discriminatory policy, they're violating the First Amendment of the United States Constitution that no corporation has the right to get you to sign your rights away from. That's my opinion on that. So,
well, you forgot.
Do you want to hang on? If you hold on, hang on. We're going into break. Stay with me. I want to hear what you have to say about that on the other side. Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN.
Did you know that neither the American Medical Association nor the American Bar Association were established to benefit the American people? Have you recognized that in our country, health care has little to do with health, and that our court system has nothing to do with justice? The priests of both medicine and law have been incentivized to implement a dark agenda on behalf of the Bilderbergers and their ilk. To protect ourselves and our progeny, we need to take a much closer look at how these two giant industries really work. Join me, Al Whitney, on In Defense of Humanity, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central, as we expose the matrix and learn how not to consent to our own destruction.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Like a storm growing across the horizon, there's a reckoning coming like Judgment Day. Finally we've been awakened from this nightmare. Voice upon voice, like a crashing wave. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Welcome back, Resurrect the Republic Truth Radio broadcast on RBN. By the way, folks, before we return to the caller here, I just want to make one statement. And, you know, he brought up a good point. So on the break, because directly from the Diamond and Silk testimony, Facebook had reached out to a couple of the House members and said that they were in direct communication with them via Twitter and comments on their Facebook threads, and that Facebook considered that direct communication. So I wrote the following notice to Facebook. This is my official notice to Facebook and all social media platforms. It has come to my attention that Facebook recognizes messages on Facebook as direct communication. See the Diamond and Silk House testimony. So that I am clear, I hereby rescind any and all terms of service agreements that would abrogate my unalienable rights. Thank you very much, Thomas Lackabear Stewart.
Rules for radicals.
Anyway, let's get back to our caller. I'm sure he had a point he wanted to make. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, we on?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're on.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, board operator said I'm bleeding through on the system there. And I told her I got a Verizon headset on. I don't know why.
It's all good.
The point, I had 3 points I wanted to make. All right. There are other alternative social media sharing sites out there. One of them is the one that I love to death, and I wish I could marry the guy, but I'm not like that. All right, it's called, can I give out the URL? It's very short. 153news.net. Now, guess what their term of service is at 153news.net? Guess how many pages? 2 paragraphs. That's it. It says,
I like that.
We don't practice censorship here and do not upload no porn, unquote. And that's it. When my cousin saw that and I saw it, I said, hey, sign me, fill in the blanks, up. And I moved all my stuff from YouTube over there right now. 2 paragraphs of their TOS. You could have knocked me in the head with a brick.
I hear what you're saying on 153. No, I hear what you're saying.
Guess what?
Yeah.
YouTube and Amazon trying to take them down, like it's one of their little subsidiaries. And the guy that put that together, right, he is knocking them dead with their little DC, what they call DC, takedown notice. He is knocking them dead.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with 153.net. I immediately, when I was terminated off of YouTube, I opened up an account on 153.net. And I started posting the information that we had regarding the money and the angle to the Parkland shooting that followed the Promise Grant program and all of that stuff. And I started getting comments on my thread saying this was a complete hoax, it was a phony. And I said, there are people doing videos on that. I'm focusing on the research behind Follow the Money. And the next day, my entire account was gone. So I don't know personally the folks at 153.net, and I don't know that this wasn't some sort of weird accident. But after everything that I've seen with controlled opposition, and I don't want to make any accusations to 153.net because this could have been a mistake. But I went to Steemit, DTube, and BitChute, and I did a test. And I've allowed that test now to run since January. And I posted the same content that I had on 153.net on those other platforms, and it's still there. So I think that and I'm like I said, I'm not discounting 153, but if I'm going to put my work, I put 6 years of work into YouTube. I'm not ready to put 6 years of work into another platform to all of a sudden have somebody zap me because I disagreed with the fact that something, or didn't play to the fact that something was an overt hoax. I wasn't really commenting there. I wasn't going there because Lorri's and my research really focused on the money. I wasn't focused on the as much the drill and all of the differing testimony. There were people that were doing that, and I think that sometimes when you run up into personalities, like when there's a small platform like that, you run into personalities and you disagree with them, you could be censored very quickly, and there's no recourse because there's no public conversation. So I'm a little bit worried by that. Where Steemit, DTube, Steemit and DTube is blockchain. It really can't be. It really cannot be taken down. Not only that, but the money that I was generating from YouTube, which they owed me $1,500 when they terminated my account, that I've never seen and I probably will never see. I've made more money with Steemit than I have with YouTube, and I've only been there for a little bit more than a month and a half. So there's that too. So go ahead.
Well, I just want to throw two quick jabs out there. I don't care them for Diamond and Silk. Number one, they go in front of Congress and they testify like they're in the ghetto somewhere. They need to kind of like white woman their voice a little bit. As a black man, I can say that.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because
That's
you know
it.
what? There's
Boom.
enough yes men and yes women that go before Congress.
That's it. Boom. I'm not trying to change people's culture. That's how they talk.
That, the people that they went after were verbally attacking them in quote unquote being polite
I'm not with that.
and using rule for radicals. I'm glad they nailed their butts to the wall.
Yep.
We already not getting enough respect as it is as black people. So therefore,
well, they should give respect if they want it.
Well, you know what? They are.
It was a black man that was going after Diamond
Lorri,
and Silk.
I got this. Lorri, I grew up in Camden, New Jersey, sir. And I assure you, I have been in the deepest and the worst of the hood. And I've been with Spanish, Italian, and blacks. And I know a lot of, there's a black slang, I get all that. But you know what? People are who they are. What I like about Diamond and Silk is that they are authentic. They're not polished. If you want to watch somebody who's polished, that went to an Ivy League school, that can talk perfectly Protestant Christian white, go watch Anderson Cooper, that CIA mockingbird liar. He'll speak so perfectly for you while he feeds you bullshit, and you're just going to eat that stuff up because he speaks well. I respect Diamond and Silk because they're authentic. They are who they are. They don't make any apologies for it, and I respect them for it.
Well,
anyway.
What I can't cover here, I cover my own radio show in about another 2 hours at Radio Ark, like Noah's Ark and radio. So
good for you.
The point I'm trying to make is, to me, they sounding ghetto. I don't know how they sounding to you. And trust me, I am a black man. This is not a white guy impersonating a...
They sound like you sound right now. There's nothing wrong with it.
They sound like someone who is not going to take any mess from a corrupt politician. That's exactly what they sound like.
Yep. And people come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and ways of talking.
And to just talk and say that they're quote-unquote ghetto, that is such a misrepresentation, honestly.
It is. That's wrong. I mean, listen to how you're talking. You got a radio show.
I'm a product of the prison system.
But that's fine. But
we know
hold on a
this.
minute.
We know this.
Lorri,
take
Mike,
that up on
turn
your
the
show.
volume down. I usually don't do that. Sir, you're a product of the prison system. That's an excuse? These two young ladies are a product. These two young ladies are a product of their environment as well. So you can have a radio show, and you can have your voice, and you can make excuses for the way you talk, and it's for the product of the prison system. But these young ladies, do you know anything about their childhood? Do you know anything about where they grew up and who they grew up around, who raised them, and what they overcame? Do you have any of that information? Caller gone, Mike. Don't ever let him on my show again. What the hell? This is the typical, you know what?
You know who this is, Tom?
I know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly who it is, and I know his kind. First of all, it's jealousy. Second of all, it's an attack. He wants to attack them for the way they speak while he's speaking the same way they are with a radio show. Talk about the epitome of all hypocrites. That is right there, folks. You just saw a show hijacked by a provocateur. That's what you just saw, a provocateur. 153net, you know what? I used to go there and watch videos. And it was great while it lasted. But again, these are opinions. They're bringing you to websites that I have been censored on. I got my whole account wiped out at 153.net. So if somebody were to ask me, should I get an account at 153.net? I'd say, I'm sorry, my experience, I can't speak for everybody, is probably not. Not if you want to tell the truth. Anyway.
So
sorry, I
what
got a
we
little
need
hot
to
under
do,
the collar, but
that's okay. What we need to do,
I got it.
Yeah.
I love provocateurs in a way. They get
well,
my juices
we
going.
need to get back to topic. Otherwise, he's accomplished his goal. Okay.
No, he's not accomplished it. We have nothing but time. Go ahead.
I want to, there's a couple of clips I'm not going to be able to get to, but I want to go over this real quick because it is imperative that we go over this. And I already had plans to go over this, so the caller just kind of pointed that out. Rules for radicals. There's 13 rules for radicals. I'm going to go over the rules really quick. I'm not going to go into dissecting or anything like that because I want you to be able to pick out what is going on. Members of Congress are using rules for radicals. This gentleman just tried to use some rules for radicals and it didn't work. So, number one, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Power is derived from two main sources, money and people. Have and have-nots must build power from flesh and blood. Number two, never go outside the expertise of your people. It results in confusion, fear, and retreat. Feeling secure adds to the backbone of anyone. Number three, whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Look for ways to increase insecurity, anxiety, and uncertainty. Number four, make the enemies live up to its own book of rules. If the rule is that every letter gets a reply, send 30,000 letters. You can kill them with this because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules. Number five, ridicule is a man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It's irrational. It's infuriating. It also works as a key pressure point to force the enemy into concessions. Number six, a good tactic is one your people enjoy. They'll keep doing it without urging and coming back to do more. They're doing their thing and will even suggest better ones. Number seven, a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Don't become old news. Number eight, keep the pressure on. Never let up. Keep trying new things to keep the opposition off balance. As the opposition masters one approach, hit them from the flank with something new. Number nine, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Imagination and ego can dream up many more consequences than any activist. Number 10, the major premise for tactics is the development of operations that will maintain a constant pressure upon the opposition. It is the unceasing pressure that results in the reactions from the opposition that are essential for the success of a campaign. Number 11, if you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. Violence from the other side can win the public to your side because the public sympathizes with the underdog. Number 12, the price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. Never let the enemy score points because you're caught without a solution to the problem. And number 13, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. cut off the support network and isolate the target from sympathy. Go after people and not institutions. People hurt faster than institutions. Now, that is what is going on, whether it be the members of Congress, whether it be the social media sites, or whether it be individuals that want to call in and use some of these tactics. So if you would, Mike, go ahead and get LV4 ready, if you would. Now, I wanted to tell you something about this representative that Diamond and Silk are getting ready to speak with before you hear what
Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh,
so
yes.
Representative Hank Johnson was born October 2nd, 1954. He is a U.S. Representative for Georgia's 4th Congressional District, serving since 2007. He's a member of the Democratic Party, and the district is based in DeKalb County, a largely suburban county of East Atlanta. It also includes portions of Gwinnett, Newton, and Rockdale counties. The district's boundaries have been redrawn, and in accordance with the results of 2010 United States Census, since Congressman Johnson's initial election victory in 2006, he's one of only 3 Buddhists. The other 2 are being Representative Colin Hanbusa and Hawaii Senator Mazi Hirano to serve the United States Congress.
He's a what?
Buddhist.
I don't think he would. Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. This guy is too much of an idiot to be anything.
Well, get this. He grew up in Washington, D.C., and his father, of course, worked for the Bureau of Prisons. Oh, yep.
Oh,
and
so he's a product of the prisons.
Not
I'm
only
sorry,
that,
I just had to take a crack
Johnson
at that last
graduated
caller.
from Clark College, now known as Clark Atlanta University, in 1976. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi Kappa Alpha Chapter, Decatur, Georgia. Texas Southern University's Thurgood Marshall School of Law in 1979, and he practiced law in Decatur, Georgia. So this individual that is speaking, the reason I'm giving you this information is I want you to know this individual has the intelligence.
An idiot.
And what he's doing, I want you to pay close attention to how he's doing it, because he really tries to use the rules for radicals. He also tries to use a little bit of Delphi, Tom.
Yeah, I know. He's a good manipulator.
Well, guess what? Delphi didn't work on these American women because Congress is not used to real Americans being there and testifying. Well, they got their hands full today. And so this is what happens when Congress meets the real American women. If you would, Mike, please play LV7.
Yep.
I apologize. LV4. So while he's getting that ready, Tom.
It should be ready.
I keep hearing the Democrats say that all 3 of the...
I need LV4, please. So I wanted to also make...
Gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you,
Here we go.
Mr. Chairman. We could be here for a lot of reasons this morning. We could be looking into the manipulation of Facebook by the Russians to help Donald Trump get elected.
Oh.
We could be looking into the Russian interference with the presidential election. We could be looking at Russian hacking into state election processes. We could be talking about in this committee legislation to protect the Mueller investigation. None of those areas has this committee been involved with during the last 15 months that we've been in session. We could be talking about gun control. We could be talking about the DREAM Act in this committee. No hearings whatsoever. But what we are dealing with today, we're giving a platform to Diamond and Silk. And you ladies are very impressive to me. You have taken something and you have moved forward with it, exercising your First Amendment rights. And you've made a ton of money off of Facebook. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely not, because Facebook censored us for 6 months.
Now, Donald Trump introduced you all at a rally last year, and he introduced y'all saying that you were very popular and you had made a ton of money based on your affiliation with him. Isn't that correct?
Let me tell you what he was doing. He was calling those things that was not as though they were, is what he was doing then. But let me tell you something.
He has given you.
But Facebook censored us for 6 months.
Hold on 1 second, ma'am. The point I'm trying to make is you all have been bashing Facebook and you've been making a ton of money. Isn't that correct?
No.
Excuse me,
no.
Wait a minute, hold up.
Unsafe to the community.
You've not been making a ton of money based on your bashing of Facebook?
No. We didn't bash Facebook. What we did was we brought it to the light on how Facebook has been censoring conservative voices like ourselves for 6 months, 29 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, and 40 seconds. That's what they did.
Now, I can't tell you something.
Have you been making money? Have you been monetizing?
They won't let us monetize on Facebook.
So you
they
haven't
stopped it for 6 months, 29 days.
So they've been messing with your money then.
Exactly.
They limited our pages, what they did.
And YouTube did also by demonetizing 95% of our videos for no reason at all, deeming it as hate speech. However, allow me to say that with them,
merchandise on the...
well, even if we sell merchandise that don't have anything to do with Facebook, Facebook censored our free speech. And shame on the ones that don't even see that we have been censored. Yet, when the Black Lives Matter people complain about it, oh, everybody is up in arms. Let me just say this here. If the shoe was on the other foot and Mark Zuckerberg was a conservative and we were liberals, oh, all fences and all chains would have broke loose. You know it and I know it. But what I find appalling is that these Democrats, they don't want to take up for our voice.
Democrats would be in the street. Democrats would be in the street right now marching and calling him all type of racist.
I'd like to give you a little bit more time. I'd like to give you a little bit more time, but I got to move on. I only got a minute left.
Okay.
But I appreciate you all for your entrepreneurial spirit.
That's
and we're giving you a tremendous,
and we want to attain it too.
And we're giving you a tremendous platform with this hearing to make a ton of money when it's over.
That's right. And I hope everybody on Facebook can follow us.
And yes, that's right. That's right. Because that's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about obtaining the American dream. We are African American women. If illegal aliens can come over here and build businesses, why can't we? And we were born on this soil. Well, you don't have a right to silence my voice.
Well, now, I've always heard, though, that diamonds are a girl's best friend.
They are, and they hard too. And if I got to be hard and be firm with you, I will. You're not going to brush us off and dismiss us like we don't have merit here.
But
these people censors us for no reason. They put limitations on our page for no reason, and that was wrong.
But rather than diamonds, you're seeking money with Facebook. Isn't that correct?
Well, you know what? If Facebook is a platform for you to make money, then so be it. Everybody else do it.
And don't stop us from making it.
And don't make us feel guilty because we and other people that's built their brand page want to make money. We've spent plenty of money.
All right. Okay, I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just astounded that this committee would stoop to this level to be positioning you all to make more money.
We really thank the committee for allowing us to the light. For little voices like us. It's little voices like us.
Because it wasn't you. You didn't do it.
The time of the gentleman has expired. I thank the exchange. The gentleman asked the questions. The ladies answered his questions. And the chair now recognizes...
I thank the chairman.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me see. I'd almost tempted to yield my time back to Mr. Johnson.
Hold on. You missed it. He said he was almost... Okay, you can stop it, Mike. What he said...
Hang on. Hold on. Go ahead.
What he said was he was almost tempted to relinquish his time and give it back to Mr. Johnson.
Yeah,
so they could continue. And that's why I ended it at that one. So everyone...
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mike, do me a favor and ready the clip that I sent you on the gentleman from Georgia. And folks, this is how Hank Johnson makes money. Okay.
Oh, by the way, talking about money, $174,000 a year for the U.S. House of Representatives. Okay. Speaker of the House receives $223,500 a year. And they had every right to speak to Mr. Johnson that way because he is their employee and not their master.
That's
right.
That's a good point.
Check. They pay his check.
So let's listen now to how Hank makes money. Go ahead and roll my clip.
This is a island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population,
That's good,
I think,
Mike.
currently about 100.
That's good. That's good. So this moron, and by the way, just a shout out to our what was that guy's name that called in? I forget his name. John. Oh yeah, John. A message to you. Here is a man, an African American man, who can speak clearly and so much like an idiot. So I would just urge John out there to consider, would you rather hear from folks like Diamond and Silk, or would you rather hear from Hank Guam might tip over Johnson? I mean, how did this guy even get into the house? I don't know. But that's just one in a long line of gaps from this guy. He's the gift that just continues to keep on giving.
I have another one, and I wanted to also say before you hear these clips, because I want to correct some things. The notion that Diamond and Silk received monies from Donald Trump is not true. What happened was they paid for their own travel, and they were reimbursed only for the travel. So that is not being paid as an employee or being paid by Donald Trump, even though they try to misrepresent that. I want to correct one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
Pay close attention to this next clip, because Shelia Jackson Lee is going to be the next clip. And Shelia Jackson Lee tries to twist and manipulate to make it look as if Diamond and Silk have perjured themselves in Congress. Apparently, Shelia Jackson Lee does not understand that the 12th comes after the 11th. So let's make this clear. She tries to twist things from what Diamond and Silk had said on the 11th in an interview with Laura Ingraham. And because
Lorri,
at that time, yes.
Lorri, allow me to interject. This is the same mathematician that thought our Constitution was 400 years old.
I know. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Common Core does miraculous things. So anyway, so that is we wanted to make sure that you understood that, because they are spewing quite a bit of lies. Also, I wanted to correct one thing that Mr. Johnson said that was also a lie. When he made the statement that President Trump said that they had made tons of money off YouTube, that is not what was said. What was actually said when Donald Trump introduced Diamond and Silk, he said that I hope you have monetized your video. That is a huge difference than saying you've made a lot of money off of your video.
Oh, of course. And again,
difference.
Here's this communist Marxist moron who wants to try and smear them for making money. Well, the whole point of the matter is if you're exercising your inalienable right to express yourself makes you money, that's what the free market is all about.
Absolutely.
And God forbid these collectivists have people that don't fall into the narrative end up making money on that.
Okay, let's get to the clip, and we have a caller. Please hold until after the clip so you can make some comments. And actually, I believe I hear the music, Tom. So we'll be right back after a couple of words from our sponsors. We'll get to the clip and we'll get to the caller. Please hold on, Richard.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Many people write about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you a few from Amazon.com. My wife and I both use Extendivite and are very pleased with the results. It has helped to stabilize our blood pressure and to make both of us feel healthier. Good product and good buy. So far, so good. I've been taking Extendivite 3 times a day. Only a short while now, but already I've noticed the circulation in my hands and feet improving. They tingle. I like the idea of taking something herbal rather than pills. I take Extendivite 3 times a day every day. I think this supplement has helped with my increased fitness regime and to lower my blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Fills my sails, flows the sea of years. With no provisions, but in no praise, love is straight to fear.
Welcome back, Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on the Republic Broadcasting Network. Folks, keep in mind, our time slot is moving to 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's because I'm in Oregon still. For at least a time. So we hope that you follow us over there. We're working on a couple things that we may announce on Monday in addition to that. But keep in mind, we're moving that switch. All of you that want to chat with us, we're going to be using the chat over there too. It's resurrecttherepublic.chattango.com. And folks, we really do need your donations and your support. Now, I know that times are a little tough and supporting the network is really important, but, I've asked a few times and we need you to go to resurrecttherepublic.com, click on that PayPal button, and send us your support. It doesn't have to be a lot. If a few of you out there all just throw a little something, it would make a big difference. We're really in need of some new equipment. As well, you guys know that I've been gone for over a year and a half. All of my equipment is pretty much gone that I had to places unknown at this point. But over the course of 10 years, I've built up a lot of equipment to be able to do what I do, and I'm operating on some stuff that I would like to enhance. So if you could go to resurrecttherepublic.com, click on that donate button, we'd greatly appreciate it. So anyway, you have some more clips, and we have a caller. Which you want to get to first there, Lorri?
Well, I want to do the clip so that I can get the opinion of the caller, but I wanted to let you know the Sheila Jackson Lee is the next one coming up. And I want to point out that in 2015, Miss Lee was worth $3,547,506.
How'd she manage that as a career politician?
Oh, because she's the career politician. That's exactly right. However, I want to point that out because the travel reimbursement expenses are a little bit over $1,000, and she's making a huge deal out of that, okay? And she is worth, let me repeat that again, $3,547,506.
So here you have an African-American politician who represents the enslavement party, castigating two African-American conservative women for making a few bucks on Facebook with their opinion. I love it. What a windbag. Go ahead.
Yeah. Over a couple thousand. And you know that they don't make that much. Even if they were to get 1 million views, you're not going to make that much off of YouTube.
I don't care.
I mean, you're just, and I hope they become millionaires out of this, to be honest with you. I do. I would love it if they did, because it would tickle me pink just for the fact that every time they come and try to attack somebody for constitutional issues, and they try to trash and make them look bad, they make themselves look bad. And I love success stories out of that. And I believe Diamond and Silk are one of those. So I want to go ahead and go to that clip, and then we'll get to our caller. Mike, if you would please play LV5.
I think it is important to note two things. One, there is a question of this hearing as to establish whether there was a pattern. I think that's very important. I think we'd probably have to have 10 hearings, and I don't view this hearing as particularly important. I do want to take note of the fact, Mr. Chairman, that the Senate has just passed out of committee the special counsel legislation, of which it would be appropriate for us to hold a hearing on the special counsel legislation to protect special counsel Mueller. That is, in fact, a bipartisan bill with a number of Republicans on it. So I hope, and let me make a formal request that we do so and mark up that bill that has been introduced by Mr. Nadler. I'd also like to introduce into the record articles from Ms. Hardaway and Ms. Richard dealing with expressions of dismay or disagreement with a number of entities. Ask unanimous consent to introduce exclusive Diamond and Silk crash Hillary Clinton's race baiting. She is not our slave master. Diamond and Silk criticized Michelle Obama, and then, of course, a message for Oprah. Ask unanimous consent to put these in the record. Thank you. And I think that is clear that there is a First Amendment protection that you all deserve, as I deserve it, as the witnesses deserve it. So let me pose these questions. Ms. Hardaway, have you ever been paid by the Trump campaign?
No. We've never been paid by the Trump campaign.
You've never been paid by the Trump campaign?
We have never been paid by the Trump campaign.
Not $5, not $100?
We have never been paid. We have never been paid by the Trump campaign.
Let me ask a specific question. $1,274.94.
We have never been paid.
Ms. Hardaway, my understanding is that you received the now infamous email from Facebook, the email calling your space page unsafe on April 8th, 2018?
No. That was not April the 8th. We received that on April the 5th, 2018.
Thank you. Now on April 11th, you appeared on the Ingram Angle on Fox News to discuss this matter. The host, Laura Ingram, asked, did you get contacted by Facebook, and has this been reversed? Had you been contacted by Facebook?
We was contacted via Twitter on April the 12th.
You responded, we have not been in communication with Facebook. We have not been contacted. We have not spoken to anyone over the phone.
That's true. We hadn't been in contact with them. We haven't spoken to anyone over the phone.
Right. They said it was in direct communications with us, and we had not been in direct communication.
Did you, on that show, say that you were not contacted?
We were not contacted. We was contacted on the 12th. We was contacted on the 12th via Twitter.
All right. So are you saying that you did not lie on that show, or you did lie?
We did not lie on that show. We did that show on the 11th. We was contacted by Twitter on the 12th, by Facebook on the 12th via Twitter. And when we looked in our verifies, there they were.
Is it your testimony today that as of April 11th, when you went on Ms. Ingram's show and said that Mr. Zuckerberg had lied about trying to contact you, that Facebook never reached out to you or Ms. Richardson about this issue?
Mark Zuckerberg said that they was in direct communication with us. That, like they had spoken to us. They did not do that.
Did you get information from Zuckerberg or Facebook
by
any means of communication?
No.
You just said you got it through Twitter.
We got it through Twitter on the 12th, on April the 12th.
The next day.
Hold on for a moment. Miss Jackson, don't try to mince my words. Let me explain to you this here. April the 5th, 2018, they took and they deemed us unsafe to the community and told us it wasn't appealable. That was April the 12th is when they...
I am the one asking questions. You're in a judicial committee hearing, and I respect you, and you're going to respect me. Now, my question is, have you gotten contact from Facebook? And Ms. Richardson may want to answer it. Have you?
No.
All right. And you're saying under oath that you did not. And so the Twitter is not communication?
The way you're asking that question is a little confusing. No, you're asking that question and you're missing words right here.
Have you gotten any communication from Facebook?
On April the 12th, via Twitter.
And what mode was that?
That was via Twitter.
All right, so, and you got information. So your testimony that you did not is not truthful.
That is truthful.
Let me move on to Professor Wallman.
Time of the gentlelady.
Okay, can you pause that for just a second?
I asked
garbage.
Can you see how they use Rules for Radicals and Delphi and twist and manipulate in order to try to make the truth a lie? That is what we need to expose. This woman obviously cannot be that completely ignorant that she doesn't understand that the 12th is after the 11th. You know, she can't.
And Lorri, I'm looking at the Senate.gov, the allocations for congressional salaries. If you scroll down, you'll come across the Members' Representational Allowance, MRA, supporting personnel, office expenses, travel to the district and back, and mail for members of the House. And by the way, just for each staff member, their personnel is close to $1 million per staff member.
Wow.
And they get reimbursed for all of their traveling expenses. So the hypocrisy in this absolute scumbag taking these girls apart when every one of her trips are paid for, and she's got $1 million to pay for staff to run her errands and do all of her stuff. Where, you know, if Diamond and Silk had $1 million to spend on staff,
Hey, I say we take Sheila Jackson Lee's taxpayer money, take it from her, give it to Diamond and Silk, and let Diamond and Silk represent all of us.
Yeah.
That would be great.
You know, and they're only supposed to earn through extra income a certain percentage, as according to the House Ethics Committee.
Yeah,
and
I think
I'm kind of
like
wondering
13%.
how. Yeah, I'm wondering how she's accumulated the stockpile. But then again, of course, there's all kinds of interesting ways they can shift the money around. But you know.
Oh yeah, because if you look at the estimated net worth of her, and I do leave links for everybody to be able to go and look at this, by the way, underneath. But in 2005, she was under $800,000. Okay. She was really close towards the bottom. And then 2006 and 2007, she remained pretty much the same. She started climbing in 2008, and she passed the $800,000 mark in 2009. So it went down just a tiny bit of a hair in 2011, climbs up in 2012 and 2013 to almost a little bit below 1.6 million, and then in 2013 it went from below 1.6 million to about 1 million. Actually, is about where it's at on the graph.
Yeah, I think we need a hearing on that.
Past $3.2 million in 1 year, and it's been steadily climbing ever since. So I think
Lorri,
if anything needs an investigation, it's Miss Her.
I hate to do this, but how long has John been waiting? Is John still with us?
John's not on. It's Richard.
Oh, Richard.
Are we almost? How much longer do we have of that clip? Because I want him to hear the whole thing so he can comment.
Tell Richard to hang on just for a couple more seconds. Go ahead. Roll the clip.
Let's finish that clip, and then we're going to get to Richard.
That my introduction of my two young ladies not be attributable to my time.
How you use your time is yours, and that did count on your time.
That is not the case. Professor Wallman, I'd like you to answer this question.
Time of the gentlelady is expired.
If Facebook attempts to answer the question or respond,
time of the gentlelady is
that
expired.
legitimate that Facebook,
time
and
of the
in fact,
gentlelady is expired.
is that legitimate that Facebook
time of the gentlelady has expired.
Be held to
We're going to get through all the witnesses.
So let's get to our next caller, and then I have one more clip that I think would be great for closing out the show. Tom, how are you doing tonight, Richard?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm supposed to be delivering pieces, but I got to sneak this in. I think that people really need to look into who are the Shelia Jackson Lees and the Maxine Waters. We really need to look into their backgrounds. Nobody never looks into it. These guys are what you call black boule. B-O-U-L-E. And they were
Ooh, somebody sent me that in the chat room.
Yeah. And, I mean, you guys would be the perfect crew to look into this and bring this to the forefront. Fritz Springmeier, before they sent him to prison, I don't know if you know who he is. He was writing books and information about the Illuminati. Well, he said I called a show that he was on. Okay, yeah, so you're familiar with him. He's a credible guy. He went to prison for this stuff. So he said he had the material put together to expose the black boule, but he never got to it because they sent him to prison. So the black boule are very dangerous. These are the greatest race baiters in history because they're all very well educated. They pick them literally out of the top schools in America. They run them through the Greek system, Phi Beta Kappa Alpha. Their group. They're kind of like the black version of Skull and Bones, but they have their own mottos, their own flags, and they're sworn. And I'm gonna get off with this, and you guys can finish. Their sworn MO is to protect and serve the secret families, the secret societies, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. So they have no allegiance to black people, no allegiance to white people, or anybody in between. Definitely no allegiance to this country. Yes, sir.
Richard, are you African American?
Yes, sir.
You are?
Thank you for speaking out.
Thank you for speaking out about this. And could you do me a favor and leave my producer your number, because this is an area that I haven't researched, and I would like to talk to you about that.
I'll tell you what, I can do you better than that. Go to YouTube, because even Dick Gregory, he just passed, love him or hate him, he tried to expose these people. They have whole entire series, thorough breakdowns of who they are, when they started, what their purpose is. I mean, this is scientific at the end of the day. And so you can go to YouTube. They have gay boule, they have entertainer boule, they have rapper boule, but it's best that you get it from the experts. And you can go to YouTube, and they have multiple sources. And
now,
they
Richard,
better than me. They have the.
Now, Richard, is that B-O-U-L-E?
Yes, B-O-U-L-E.
Yes, B-O-U-L-E.
Okay, I'm gonna have to research that, Tom. That sounds Richard, you're amazing.
Thank you for that. Gino in the chat room has been. He mentioned that. It just went right past me. Thanks, Gino, and thank you, Richard.
We gotta expose these people, because if you look at what they've done, I mean, I got to go after this. And thanks for taking the time to hear this. But they replaced a guy named Vernon Johns with a guy named Martin Luther King Jr. because Martin Luther King Jr. was the boule that they wanted in place to continue this fake push towards what just called social justice and all that. But Martin Luther King woke up later on, and then they had to take him out. So boules start at the very top. People are like, I mean, you name it, the highest level, they're boule. I'm not going to name any names, but at the highest level. So I'll start right there. And the more people know about them, then we'll know what CNN is all about, MSNBC, all these guests that they have on, from Don Lemon to you name them, Jesse Jackson, they're all boule. And we got to know that, so we'll know these people aren't sincere about anything. They're just about, like the young lady was breaking down the dollar amount that they're all worth, and she's one of the broker ones. I mean, Maxine Waters and the rest of them have maxed out. So, hey, I got to go in. They're looking at me like I'm crazy for sitting out here talking. But thanks for what you do.
Richard, thank you so much.
Keep doing it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for your call, Richard. Please call back in. That is interesting. I love our callers.
Right. That just goes to show you that, being an American, and I hate to say that, are you African American? But there was a reason I asked him, because I wanted to know his deeper knowledge of it, But, this just goes to show you, when you're in a fight for freedom, it doesn't matter. All of these things don't matter. And we know that we use these cultural invasions to try and to just create culture wars, because divide and conquer. But wow, yeah, Vernon Johns replaced by MLK. MLK. There were certain aspects of Martin Luther King that bothered me, his communist ties, and I was kind of wondering why all that came into play. And then the lawsuit came about, and it was shown that the faction of the FBI, as well as the Memphis police, were both involved in his assassination. And I knew it went even deeper than we knew about. It usually always does, but this it makes sense. It really does make sense. And they are serving an agenda that enslaves their entire people. This is why we can't understand. What in the hell are you thinking in Chicago? What are you thinking? Yeah. It's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely is.
We're running out of time, so you got more clips?
We are, so I do. And I think the best one that I am going to end off with is Representative Biggs, and he makes statements that are backing up the targeting of conservatives, but he brings up some really hot topics, and I think he really everyone deserves to hear this. So if you would please, Mike, play LV7.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has been very interesting. I want to make clear, I keep hearing the Democrats say that all three of the male witnesses have testified that they have seen no evidence of any kind of bias against conservative thought on these platforms. That's true, I think, with Mr. Zucka and Professor Waldman. Mr. Chavrin indicated, I think, that he had not indicated...
We had not examined the question.
He had not examined the question. So that to me is a kind of a misrepresentation that we've heard consistently from our friends across the aisle all hearing. So thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Chavrin. I also want to add some additional information with regard to what we've seen here today. There are other reported instances besides Diamond and Silks. I appreciate all five of you being here today. The Sportsman Shop is an instance that they noticed that one day their Facebook advertisements promoting the sale of American flags had been removed. Mm-hmm. And after reaching out to Facebook, they noticed that all of their advertising capabilities had also been made unavailable. This is a problem, and Facebook provided their indication that anything that linking to sales of firearms would be blocked henceforth, but not with companies like Dick's and Cabela's. This is kind of to me, that's an indicia of bias. Gizmodo has reported as well that news curators within Facebook have also admitted that they do suppress conservative thoughts and ideas, and there's been some work done by other researchers who have indicated that just under half of U.S. adults use Facebook for news. They're massively influential in news, but when they changed their platform, we saw from January 2018 a steady decrease in the top 25 biggest publishers on Facebook. They moved from many of the conservative links, such as Fox News, Western Journal, etc. They moved consistently, post-change, further down that list. Now, I don't think anybody's isolated the variables necessarily to say that the audience may have changed, but it does provide some correlative indicia that the result of that algorithmic change by Facebook impacted the dissemination of conservative thought and ideas, and that is what we're trying to get at today. We're not trying to get into the issue of privacy. That's been going on in other issues, and that's an issue that we can take care of as well. George Upper, the executive editor of Western Journal, has said this algorithm change, intentional or not, has in effect censored conservative viewpoints on the largest social media platform in the world. This change has ramifications that in the short term are causing conservative publishers to downsize or fold up completely, and in the long term could swing elections in the United States and around the world toward liberal politicians and policies. Mark Zuckerberg said that we've rolled out a number of changes to newsfeed that try to boost in the ranking broadly trusted news sources. The one thing that's interesting here is he doesn't indicate his definition of broadly trusted news sources until he gets to this, Wall Street Journal or New York Times. And he says even if everyone reads them, the people who don't read them typically still think they're good, trustworthy journalism. And I don't know if that's true either. But the point is, they control this massive platform. Mm-hmm. They make money off this massive platform. And they then, in turn, regulate that platform themselves, as right now I think it's their right to do. I think it's their right to do. The problem is they hinder, and perhaps deliberately so, the ability of others to pursue their ideal. Now, I just want to quick point out, I think that was very interesting because this was reported April 25th in in Western Journal, that Google rejects Christian publishers' ads because they mentioned Bible and Jesus.
Time of the gentleman is expired. Thank you.
So because they mentioned Bible and Jesus, and they brought up a lot of really good points in this hearing. Good for you, Diamond and Silk. Shout out to you tonight. Great job standing out for the American people and yourselves. We're proud of you.
Yep, they're definitely not the boule.
Oh, it was wonderful. It is wonderful. I don't care what kind of accent. And, that kind of bothered me, that statement a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Because had somebody been up there using sign language for it, all right, or had an accent from, whatever part of the country that you're from, it depends on your accent,
Forget about it.
Forget about it. You have no right to judge others. Pull the sty out of your own eye before you pull it out of others. And although I'm glad that John has his own platform to speak, I also know Tom, he is pro taking the guns from everybody because he's not allowed to have guns. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I must have missed. Did I miss that one?
You did. We had a great debate.
Oh, I would have had a fun ripping his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a great debate.
So let me get this straight. Because did he ever tell you whether he committed a violent crime or not?
All he did was say that he was previously in prison, felon, and is
okay. Let's just say for a moment.
But I had the constitutional discussion with him, and he admitted it was unconstitutional. So
if his rights are violated, it's okay to violate everybody else's rights.
Right, and we don't believe in that for sure. As always, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this show tonight. I hope it made you smile, gave you a little bit of good news. Americans are rising up all across this land, and it is not African American or Mexican American. It is you are American. Period. We love you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Tom, what time's the show on Monday?
11 a.m. Pacific time. Yep.
All right.
So meet us there. 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Monday. Love you guys. Go ahead, say your thing.
Everyone, watch your backs. Check your facts. Bye, Ellis. Have a wonderful night.
Hoorah!